For the most part, Killer's out of the danger zone here.
Yep. He does have energy for one more Vortex though, so
somewhere along the way, Killer lost 30 supply. I don't know what it was. 14.
There's quite a few infested, but only 8 remaining right now. Of course, he lost 2 or 3 Broodlords. That's really quick. So many storms.
Take this fight. Huge storm going down. Void Rays, carriers, mothership. Very slow Broodlords trying to run for their lives, but I don't think that's going to work. A huge fungal. That's like the biggest fungal I've ever seen in my life, but unfortunately, it's not going to do that much damage. Killer is in full retreat right now, Kevin. He has 17 infestors that are about to pop out, but I don't know what the hell they're going to do. Corruptors are dying very, very quickly. Storms and Vortex and feedbacks going down in mass, and Killer's in a lot of trouble. Good game. Well played. Killer taps out with 20 infestors on the field.
Rain made it look easy, man.
That's actually kind of true.
So I guess there is a certain point in the game where ZerG can be too passive after all. If Protoss goes up all the way to 5 Stargates, I mean, he kept sniping.
A couple notable features is that, one, the same thing for the ZerG. It's a little bit harder to move between the natural and third base. There's a lot of positions there. Protoss can kind of work along the edges of the map where you can't surround them. Not to mention the fact that War Prisms can sneak in and force field the ramp between your main natural very easily on this map.
There's also a lot of places you can hide pylons as a Protoss player to really try to catch your opponent off guard. We see Creator putting a pylon down at his opponent's natural expansion. Speaking of those, trying to delay that as long as possible. Meanwhile, he opened with a Forge here, not going for the Nexus first, so we'll have to see what he has on his mind here.
There's a couple of reasons. It could be perhaps because this is the first map in the series where he didn't know where his opponent spawned, and so he just wanted to get that Forge first, because on a map where you're not sure to scout your opponent first, there's a higher probability the ZerG will get early spawning pool and try to rush you, just because there's that chance that you won't be able to scout, and if you went Nexus first, all of a sudden you're in a world of trouble against early spawning pools. So Creator may be playing a little bit safe, or perhaps he's even looking to maybe throw out a cannon rush potentially. There could be a couple of reasons why he went that Forge first. In any case, though, is he actually doing a full wall off? It looks like he is. Really wanted to make sure he's very, very safe in the early game. Also with a sneaky probe out there. I'm trying to figure out the idea behind this full wall off, because of course he's going to have a really hard time taking a third. But I guess we already talked about earlier, this map Protoss generally never takes third base. It's all 2-base timing. So if you're thinking about it in that regard, it actually kind of makes sense to do a full wall off if you're never worried about pulling probes out anyway. Of course, if he's going for like an immortal timing or something, you will have to open that wall just to get the. Actually, he doesn't even have to. You can War Prism ferry them over, or with that hidden probe, proxy. You mentioned how good proxy pilots are here.
Yeah,
he could be doing some mass gateway aggression. Hard to tell just yet. Vortex opening very standard, nothing but drones in that production tab. Probe is still not spotted. It's on the move. Sneaking. It is spotted. Okay, so that's why it's on the move. It was spotted.
Running from the ZerG.
And that is very unfortunate for Creator. Is he going to scout for the... I think he already knows his 3 bases, so I guess he's just kind of running around, and Queen's going to meet him there.
Goodbye,
and if he did not know there were 3 bases, although I think he already did, now he knows for sure where that Queen being
Or maybe
over.
he thought maybe the Queen was just taking a leisurely stroll around Shakur's Plateau.
Or, I mean, if Queen was moving at a slightly different angle, it might have been trying to do one of those,
oh, the hatchery.
Yeah, get some creeping in your opponent's face early on.
Fancy.
Either way, we see +1 weapons being researched early on by Creator. There's a third and fourth gas, so this is looking very similar to the build he opened with in Game 1. At least, I mean, at the start here, we'll see if he goes robotics again. The full wall-off is kind of interesting, though, because you will have to kill a building, which you normally don't want to have to kill your own buildings. I think he just wanted to be very, very safe on Shakuras here. He knows, I mean, Vortex did that 2-base roach on Antigua. And Shakuras is a map where neither player has played very often. So it's one of those situations where if you know your opponent hasn't practiced a whole ton on this map, then perhaps they're more likely to do, some type of little funky opening. And Gateway is coming down here. No tech building. Is he going to do some mass gateway attack behind tons of sentries?
Yeah, what is he up to?
I actually think it might be. What's his probe count at? That's always a good indication. 39 probes. If he is doing some mass sentry attack, it'll be similar to that, that immortal timing. Okay, there's a Twilight Council. So this looks to be a 2-base blink timing. He will again probably stop at 45 probes. Actually, I guess it still could be a third base behind blink, but much more likely to be the 2-base timing here. Vortex with a Roach Warren at 7 minutes again, actually slightly faster than that. Again with speed. I think Vortex, maybe this is just his build. I mentioned how Zergs tend to like to tech lair before speed if they know their opponent's not doing some super early gateway rush. But Vortix has done this build every game in the series, getting the roach warning and speed first. So I think he just figures, you know what, even if sometimes you want the layer a little faster if you're not being pressured super early, I'd rather just get all the timings down perfectly for this type of opening. And I mean, the early speed helps a lot as well for map control. We have Sen taking the first map against Hero, and actually Rain taking the second map against Killer as well. So a couple score updates there. It looks like Sen is, so far, with the exception of Rain vs. Killer, every non-Korean Zerg has started to take the first couple of maps against their Korean Protoss counterparts. The Korean Protoss have been striking back to Creator winning 2 in a row against Vortix, Party winning 2 in a row against Suppy to even that up 2-2. Here, Creator's moving out, killing this pylon with his mass sentries. Hallucination is on the way, as well as Blink. From here on out, we're going to see pure Starcraft Warpins, I would really expect. Vortex, Lair is not done yet. You know, Creator is going to hit before Speed Roach completes, and this is the danger of getting Speed before Lair tech against these later time 2-base attacks, is that your Roach speed is significantly delayed, and that's such a key element. With his speeding count, he may be able to keep Creator pinned back in the base for long enough. Creator with some Phoenix Scouts, I think he wants to know when to move out. Of course, if there's a ton of units early, you gotta wait, right? Right. But if they've just been droning up and have no units, you want to hit earlier before the drones pay off. Or actually, is he going to take a third behind us? Oh, 54 probes. Sorry, excuse me. I didn't even notice he kept making probes. So he is planning on taking the third base.
No robo yet, though.
No robo, but on this map, we mentioned how hard it is to hold, and so I think he wants to have maximum unit quantity to be able to fight in the middle, because he has to control the middle ground. If you give up the middle, you can't defend your natural and your third at the same time, or it's much harder. So you have to split your army, and you're much weaker to things like drop play.
Yeah, and that kind of explains the decision to go for the hallucinate there. Of course, if you're not going for the robo, you're not going to have observers, so you kind of have to have a way to scout your opponent in a decent amount of time. And there we see the robo being placed down, and now Creator is probably going to focus on trying to wall up this third base. Once you can do that, it becomes very difficult for the Zerg player to try to be aggressive towards that. And I love the way Creator is playing this. Has like a segment of his army at his natural expansion, a segment of his army at his third base, really just trying to ensure the safety of both of these locations. And Vortix, he's not going to be able to engage that. So behind this, just teching up to Infestation Pit, and we'll likely see a fourth here from him fairly soon, I would imagine.
I would definitely agree. This is actually a really cool build here. I mean, the splitting up the army. Oh, Vortex trying to test the third base, denied by those force fields. And this type of split up formation on these ramps makes you immune to any type of roach speeding aggression.
So Creator can't build anything here anymore, and Vortex is going to still try to be aggressive. And now he's going to go to the natural expansion, trying to find a vulnerability, but I'm not necessarily sure it exists.
There isn't any. I mean, this is a ton of roaches Vortex committed to. Wow, a few Zerglings being up, but actually that's almost good for Creator to let those Zerglings up, because he will just slay them with ease. And this is a situation where Vortex has the middle ground, but Creator can defend against roaches, and this is a situation where what many Zergs have is something like a roach drop in the main is very strong, because the units at the third have a very hard time getting to the main. And of course, infested Terrans being lobbed up on top of the bases are strong as well, because Protoss only has half arm. Oh! Vortex sneaks in some of the units, takes out a couple units. Can Creator hold this? A lot of probes actually being taken out. Forge being focused down, he might lose that +3 upgrade.
Oh, and he is going to lose it, and Creator having trouble defending this. Again, has to worry about defending this this third location as well. So Vortex finally able to spread out Creator a little bit. Creator though, finally he's gonna be fine here, able to kill most of those units. He's a little bit behind in Harvesters here, but again, the important thing is having those three having those three bases, securing those gases at his third. And Vortex, a nice little run by there, trying to be cost efficient again. What's important here for Vortex is, building up that infestor count and looking for those cost efficient trades with the Zerglings and the Roaches, which he may or may not have accomplished there. But I still think we're fairly even at this point.
Very, very, very close. Vortex had to get rid of those Roaches somehow, and getting the Forge was really nice. A few probes went down as well. One thing I want to talk about is the more I think about it, is how well thought out Creator's build is for this map. I mean, taking the third, you have to split the army because holding the middle is too difficult. And so that's why he went very, very fast Blink, because when you take the third, you're very weak to things like mass drop play. And the Blink allows that mobility where you can probably transfer units between the natural and third much, much easier. The other weakness, of course, is infested Terran timings, but he got the hallucination out so fast. If there was some fast infestors, he could adapt his play for that. Maybe some fast Templar or just more cannons at each of his bases. Really well thought out build by Creator, showing that he practiced specifically for this map.
Yeah, and doing a nice little drop here in the main base, causing some drones to scurry away. Not sure if he got any drone kills though. Nope, 0 workers killed this entire game here for Creator. So Vortix doing a great job protecting the so important economy. Meanwhile, going to Spire and Hive. So he has Broodlords on his mind, and Creator saying, I want none of that. He's going to do this looks like an identical push to last game, to be honest.
It is. Well, it's very similar. It's about, a minute later, but then, of course, Vortex's tech is later, too. Both of them are delayed because of the way the early game worked out. Creator with a late third, a lot of Blink Stalkers. Vortex with that mass Ro8 attack. So the timing looks pretty much identical, just everything pushed back because of the way the map opened.
All right, Creator coming to the middle of the map. This is such a hard army to engage as a Zerg player. A lot of choke points that you can utilize, a lot of force fields available, but Vortex is going to have to focus on spreading out, getting up a nice concave behind these spines. And this is the good thing about Shakuras for Zerg. I mean, your Protoss opponent is forced to engage along one attack path, and that's kind of like similar to Daybreak. So Vortex just has to focus on just spreading out his units here, setting up a nice little concave, and biding time for those Broodlords to get on the field. But I don't know if Creator's going to let him do that.
And I mean, this is what we saw. The weakness of Cloud Kingdom was that Creator just bypassed that spine wall. Not able to do so here. Vortex is moving out here. The Corruptors are in action. Infestors getting a little bit too close for them, going down fairly quickly. But so many Infested Terrans coming down. Creator's on the retreat with Blink. The Colossi go down. The Warp Prism follows. There's no Warp and reinforcements. And Vortex is looking pretty good here.
Still so many Stalkers on the field, though. And again, this is the weakness of getting all those Corruptors. They're not necessarily going to help him right now. And Creator continuing to charge forward here. Vortex running out of energy on the Infestors. Pretty much only has Roaches and Spine Crawlers. And Creator has the ability to just simply blink back the weakened Stalkers. Get up those shields back up. He's 1-2 on those upgrades. And now Vortex is going to be on the run, scrambling to try to get an appropriate unit composition to deal with this.
He's got Roaches in production. Creator has a hard time reinforcing. His reinforcements are crossing the map almost there right now. The Blink Stalker count is huge, though. Vortex still 40 food ahead, although you mentioned a lot of that's into those Corruptors that aren't so useful. But on speed, the Roaches are so fast, they can really run down those Blink Stalkers very effectively, of course, backing up when Creator backs away off the creep. It's really a positional game here. Creator unwilling to engage on creep. Vortex saying, you know what? I'm going to wait for you to come to me because I have Broodlords on the way now.
All right, Vortex still trying to delay Creator as long as possible. I'm not sure exactly where those Broodlords are morphing in. Okay, they're at that's a nice little spot there at the back there. Not going to be overextending, but Creator might try to take advantage and go up to that third base and try to deny that and poke out. But then he has the risk of trapping himself. So it remains to be seen what Creator's going to do here, but still adding on nothing but Stalkers.
Creator able to get up a proxy pylon to replace that Warp Prism, a great way to reinforce his ability. Vortex's Broodlords are morphing. Vortex, now the Broodlords are starting to crawl forward. Is he going to engage before they get there, though? There they are. Roaches have backed them up.
Oh, they're the Infestors, but they're in the back, though, not doing much. Creator still able to blink back those Stalkers. Vortex trying to get those Infestors in the mix. Needs those Fungals. Misses a Fungal. Great blink there from Creator. Only Fungling 2 of the Stalkers in the front, but they still have plenty of life, and they're just going to blink back anyway. Creator being so cost-efficient with these units. Amazing Stalker control, and Vortex is going to have to back up to his natural expansion.
Oh, a massive Fungal that catches about 10
of those blink forward there from Creator, targeting down those Broodlords. Infestors overextending a little bit, and Creator slowly getting lower and lower on that Stalker count and going to have to back up.
This is such a tense battle. Vortex sending units from every which direction. Creator constant warp and reinforcements. But every time he gets on creep, he gets punished as the Roaches run so fast. It's much harder to kite against him.
Oh, another great Fungal onto Creator's Blink Stalkers, but Vortex, again, he's running out of energy on those Infestors. Vortex trying to shove Creator away, but Creator warping in more and more Stalkers. Not many units remaining here for Vortex. The Broodlords are getting kind of vulnerable. The Roaches starting to die away, and again, no energy on those Infestors, meaning Creator could potentially get a nice little blink underneath those Broodlords. Vortex realizing that, going to be backing away, and Creator being so relentless at this point in time.
This is just so touch and go. Creator cannot let Vortex regenerate Infestor energy. Vortex has to hold on until these next 4 Infestors are produced. Vortex investing in 3 different upgrades right now. It's a little bit of interesting. I mean, he has so much money, I think.
No, not to.
I guess he doesn't have the larva.
But if he was on top of his injects, yeah, then he wouldn't.
Yeah, so I mean, but he's got tons of money. He is maxed now. As soon as these 4 Infestors come out, I think Creator's gonna be a tough spot. Vortex can probably even give up that third base, just because his army's gonna be so powerful once he gets some Fungals to back it up. Creator with just pure Stalkers, a couple of Mortals thrown in a mix. Look at that production tap from Vortex, though, adding in more Queens. A nice little Fungal. They're catching this little bunch of Stalkers off guard. Creator trying to get Vortex to come out and fight him in open. Vortex obliges.
Yeah, Creator trying to blink back those Stalkers, sending a squadron up to the north. But here we go, he's going to try to blink underneath the Broodlords once again. There are 6 Broodlords here. Infestors trying to get down those fungal growths, and now throwing down a bunch of Infested Terrans. Vortix at 188 supply, and now Creator is on the run. Vortix saying, get out of here, man. I got too many units for you to deal with, and that's representative in those Infestors that just added into the army. But Creator is refusing to die. Great Blink Stalker micro, but he only has 3 bases behind this. Only 2 of them are mining. He's running out of reinforcements.
He is, and Vortix is pushing him back. The Infestor count is getting larger and larger. These upgrades are nearing completion. Creator is starting to run out of steam. His main is mined out. His natural is probably running low. I'm going to take a look at that really quickly. See, okay, as natural's running low. Once that goes out, he'll be on 1 base economy. He cannot keep up these mass stock warpins.
Oh! Did you see that, Mr.
Just the instant that probe goes, they're both thinking the same thing. They're both thinking.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking too.
We're thinking Creator's running out of money. He's got to get a 4th. He sends a probe. Vortix is like, you know what? My opponent's running out of money. He's got to get a 4th. I put some creep there. Wow. I mean, all these guys thinking just on the same lines. Just a beautiful game here coming out. But you know what? Vortix with that defense. 2-2 upgrades are going to complete. I mean, he's got a 5th base being produced. Creator's 4th has been delayed. The army, Vortix has a much more efficient army. With he's going to have like 10 Broodlords in a second here, I think. Yeah, he's going to have 10 Broodlords, 10 Infestors, and of course enough Roaches there that you can't really blink under the Broodlords without being punished severely. And Creator just got 150 feet of Stalkers, so his army, it's lower tech and it's smaller.
Creator needs plan B.
He doesn't need a plan B. He's got the 4th, maybe a base race, but he's gotten the War Prisms on the field. I think
is, I don't know how easy it is to do that.
With just Blink Stalkers, you can cross the North and South Pass.
It does take time to blink up and down and across.
Maybe Mass Observers and War Prisms, split your army in 2, something like that. Creator, though, looks like he just wants to try to straight out defend this push. Not so sure how that's going to work. But Vortix's army is massively split, though. Half the units are lagging behind.
Vortix should wait. He should wait for this Broodlord.
Yeah,
I think he's going to.
He's going to. He's just got a little train of Overseers and Broodlords all collecting up, meanwhile getting more and more upgrades. It looks like Rain has defeated Killer 3-0. So that's the first Korean passes through. But Vortix here is fighting back against Korean number 2 with Creator Prime. Vortix looking to even a score up 2-2 with this massive Broodlord Infestor push.
Oh gosh, how is Creator going to deal with this? I don't know if it's going to be possible. Vortix extending forward with all of these units. So many Roaches, Infestors, and Broodlords. Creator has pretty much the best concave possible, but look at these beautiful fungals here from Vortix. Creator starting to get lower and lower on that supply. Vortix has way too much stuff, and there's the GG from Creator, and Vortix is going to even up the series.
He is 2-2. I mean, you know what? I think Vortix loves playing StarCraft too. Round of 16.
Doesn't, man?
I know, but look at this. I mean, round of 16, 3-2, win all
like
5 games versus Lucifron.
He came to play.
He did come to play. I mean, he's played so many games, and you know what? In the group stage, Creator's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go through, win both matches in a row, get through the group quickly, boom, boom, boom. Vortix, he took a scenic route through the group stage, lost the vibe. But then came back through and won the group out. Or sorry, got second in the group to go through round 16. Took it all 5 games against Lucifron.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Vortix is just playing absolutely amazing, tying it up 2-2 against Creator. He's 1 win away from taking out not only one of the best Protoss players in the world, but also advancing on to the semifinals of the World Championship Series StarCraft 2 Global Finals. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the ace match, Game 5 between Vortix and Creator. Don't go anywhere.